up, man?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
This is Jose, Martin, Carlos.
Hey.
Nice Where you at, Carlos? You're in Guadalajara, right?
Hey, what's going on?
Yeah, I'm here.
Why'd you move? So check this out, guys. You guys don't know Carlos Ballarta, stand-up comedian. You've been living on a rock. Of course, Jose is anti-Netflix, so maybe he doesn't know who you are, you know?
Okay.
He's a Hulu guy. No, he's a Showtime HBO guy. He's like, I don't have, every time I mention, hey, have you seen this show? I don't have Netflix. So esos mamones. I hate when people do shit like that. Come on, dude, just say, oh, dude, yeah, I don't have Netflix. I hate when they say it with an attitude.
I don't have Netflix.
I don't fucking.
Everybody gets the show off Netflix. It seems like everybody, when they went on a TV writer's strike, they just jumped on board on the web series and just started like giving shows to everybody. Like,
but is that kind of like a political statement?
No, it's I already have cable. I don't need Netflix statement.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, so
it looks like Cisco called all his friends that had long hair and said, "Fuck it, let's get on the live."
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, Carlos. So it's an interesting thing about Carlos Vallarta. He taught himself how to speak English, man. Right?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, you go to any public school, private school here in Mexico, you get a little bit of a. You got like English lessons, but mostly it was by playing video games and watching movies and all that.
Music.
Ever since I was a kid. Yeah,
music. But dude, when I met him, he started speaking to me in English, and I look at this motherfucker like, the fuck? you know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck? This motherfucker speaks fluent English, like speaks it better than my stepdad, who's been here for like 40 years and shit. You know, I'm like, I feel like whooping my stepdad's ass, like kicking his ass. Hey, ¿qué chingados que te está pasando, güey?
I remember when you guys came over to Mexico City for the first time. It was you and two other guys.
And Richard. No, I came with Richard the first time, and then I came with you talking with Chueco and Peter.
Chueco and Peter, yeah, and I remember Chueco's got like cerebral palsy, and he speaks better Spanish than you and Peter. That was like
yes, he does.
What's up with that, you know?
And Peter's from Mexico. That's the fuck. He's born in Tijuana. He moved here when he was like a preteen, I think, or just barely a teenager.
Yeah.
So he has no excuse. I never went to Mexican school. I didn't grow up in Mexico. So Spanish was actually my second language, man.
Yeah.
You know, my dad talked to me in English. My mom spoke to me in Spanish. But, you know, my mom came when she was 14, and she speaks fluent Spanish, but she speaks, I mean, God bless her heart, she speaks ignorant Spanish, man. And that's what I learned. I mean, I'm not trying to diss my mom. It's just a fact. A fact is a fact. I can't deny it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, Martin, you grew up here, right? You're born here, right?
Yeah, I'm born here. I was gonna say, I don't even notice an accent, Carlos, in the way that you speak English. It's very fluent, almost like you're here in the States and you grew up with it. It doesn't seem like a second language.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's a thing that I picked up on video games and movies.
Yeah, dude, NBA Jam, right? And Mortal Kombat. That's all you need.
The rapist in Grand Theft Auto. This guy rapes girls. Let me see. How does he talk?
My first language was Spanish, bro. I didn't even speak English until I went to school.
Me too.
I went to kindergarten in the 70s, and they had a bilingual program where it was Spanish and English, and you had white kids and Latino kids in the same classroom. And we'd have an English reading group and a Spanish reading group. The people that spoke Spanish helped the kids that didn't speak Spanish, and the kids that didn't speak Spanish helped the kids that didn't speak English.
Oh.
It was really like
cool.
A pretty cool little combination. It wasn't like ESL where they put all the kids that didn't speak English together. No, this was both, which I think was more effective. Instead of putting everybody que no habla inglés todos juntos, who the fuck are you going to ask other than the teacher?
Yeah.
But if you're in the class with the kids like that, they did away with the program. I don't know why. Well, who knows why? But it was really effective. So I aprendí inglés en la escuela, and then I'm very fluent. I could speak Spanish, and I could read it. I could write it. Obviously I can't. The punctuation fucks with me, but it fucks with me in English too. So it's the same shit.
So, hey, Martin, so how does it, how often do you get the Martin shit, man?
All the time.
All the time?
You know what? People say, does it get old? Fuck no, it doesn't get old. You know, it was really, I don't know when I noticed it. Like at first, you know, you hear it and it's like, yeah, they're just repeating the joke. And then one day, I think we're in Australia and, you know, we're doing like this world thing where we're pretty much in, you know, in Saudi Arabia and in Europe, all over the place. And I'm hearing these arenas with thousands of people and they're all screaming my name. And I'm like, holy fuck, that's not a made up random name. You know, like when you tell a story, a lot of times the character is made up. But that was actually me. It was my freaking name that they were screaming. And I'm like, that's a lot of energy being thrown into the universe. Like
it's love, man. It's
all
love.
over the world, you know, and it's a lot.
And every time you heard that, your hair grew an inch.
Homie, I just felt like it was just by nothing that I did, you know, it was 100% Gabriel's joke. He created that story, that bit. But so it was, you know, it wasn't like, oh, soy chingón y sé esto, esto, no. I was just on the receiving end of a joke that went really, really big, you know, internationally. And to hear people scream it like that, you know, like people saying they're like, oh, you must get tired of hearing it. I'm like, the minute, like, why would I get tired of hearing it? It's
exactly.
fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, I feel love with it. It's not like they're doing it to, you know, fuck with me or whatever.
When somebody says they get tired of it, it's like fake humility, man.
Yeah.
Like I really come on. You cannot get tired of motherfuckers going, "Hey, Ballarta, ¿qué onda, güey?" Fuck it, you know, like how do you get tired of that? Somebody's
se cae de la patada.
Dude, look, man. I've been at like Disneyland or and fucking one person recognizes me, and I'm like, fuck, they know who I am, you know, like one person, you know what I'm saying? Who gives a fuck? You know what I mean? It feels good. It feels good to be recognized. You know, I mean, it's a bit, but still, I mean, also they like you. They like who you are. They like your persona. That you could have been a piece of shit, and they would have been like, yeah, that's that Martin guy. Fuck him. I ain't gonna fucking call his name. You know what I mean? They could have done that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, you know what's crazy? Like I'm looking at Carlos, and you have a very distinct look. You know, a lot of comics, especially here in the United States, early on, Cisco. I don't know if you remember, everybody had a fade.
You had one. Black. I remember it when I met you.
Well, but everybody, todos se miraban igual, con la pinche leather jacket or a dark jacket and a fade. And it's like nothing would distinguish them from everybody else. You just kind of blend in. It's like, oh, that guy was funny. Which one? Oh, the guy with the fade and the leather jacket. You know?
Yeah, which one?
That's why Gabriel, with a Hawaiian shirt, he stood out, you know? But somebody like you with your hair and those glasses, immediately, it's very recognizable, brother. So,
well, no, it's no denying, Carlos. You got that very indigenous look, man. Like growing up, was that ever an issue? I mean, did you ever feel like discrimination or anything?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like I mean, it's a reality here in this country that we got this very clear separation between white people and brown-skinned people. And the fucked up part of it is that white people are actually a minority that lives like a majority, and brown-skinned people are a majority that live like a minority. And that's like everything is, you know, backwards. And growing up, it did show up. There's a little bit of racism going on with kids, but now that I'm a dad, I kind of like think that it's more ignorance rather than actual, what would you call evil? It's just ignorance. And, you know, the problem is that parents in this country don't think that there's an actual issue with racism, so they don't educate their kids on that. And that's what creates this ignorance from the kids.
Well,
there is racism in my country.
No, absolutely, dude. And that's the same problem here. The thing is, and it's not just here, there, wherever, is that, and I've mentioned this before, it's an ongoing issue. We don't grow up around each other. And like especially like a Mexican American or, you know, of Mexican descent or Latino in this country, a white person's first, what do you call it? A first, what do you call it? What's the word? Fuck, I'm fucking drawing a blank. Impression of you is what they've seen in a movie. If they've never met a Mexican, even though we're from here, they think we're from Mexico. Like when you meet a white, oh yeah, man, dude, and they start talking about your food and your culture, and I'm like, yo, wait a minute, man. I fucking grew up in HP, dog. You know what I mean? Which is like Little Mexico, but I'm just saying, you didn't know that, motherfucker. You never been to HP. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean, right? You know, right? I mean, Jose, right? Have you ever had that?
Well, I guess the only thing I can relate to is like, me growing up, I figured like all the robots in the future were going to look like Short Circuit, like that Johnny Five. And then like now all the robots just look like sex dolls. So, I mean, I don't know.
The fuck, were you waiting just to throw that shit in or what, man?
No, because I was thinking about what he was saying. It's like the majority and the minority. And I was like, damn, like the only thing I could relate that to is like, okay, like everybody here is Mexican. Everybody here is like, some shade of brown. Like we're all kind of like the same. It's like the majority, like they want to say the white people are the majority, but the real majority is like all the minority brown people of the world. I mean, that's what I was like relating.
Well, look, before I know you're going to say something, Martin, but before you do, you grew up in Wilmington. Wilmington's pretty segregated, or was it not, or it's become segregated? I mean, I remember I went to Banning High School one semester, bro, and I had to get the fuck out of there because I remember the West Siders, they didn't like the East Siders, and they jumped each other, and then they didn't like the black gangs either, and they jumped each other, and I was like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. This is a crazy-ass school, man.
You were there, what, in the 90s?
89.
89, yeah, late 80s, early 90s. There's always been gang violence, but I remember specifically then it was really out of control. You had the Bloods, the Crips, you had the obviously all the Mexican gangs. There's a lot of interracial kids as well in Wilmington. So black and Mexican, like in Carson, you got Samoan and Mexican. So but what's interesting about the topic, how you were saying in Mexico, you've got the majority that is, tan like us. But there's this thing that we've been conditioned in our head to think that white is better, like even when you're born, ay, mira, está blanquito, they get happy, or, oh, pobrecito, qué prieto,
Salió como, like, ojalá no salga como el papá. They'll say shit like that. They'll say shit like that. I've heard it. Yeah. Look, dude, I'm güero, dude. I'm güero, light complected. Dude, I've heard it from my kids. Ay, lástima que no sacaron tus ojos. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like, just let my kids be my kids. You know what I'm saying? Why do they have to have light-colored eyes? I love them for what they are. I don't give a fuck.
No, we've been conditioned, but it's not just, Mexicanos. También, like in world. India, in Asia. In India, they have commercials, bro, where they sell products to lighten your skin, where
Philippines.
You put this cream and you're going to be lighter. It's like the dude's walking around, no encuentra trabajo, he can't find love. His world is shit. And then he puts this cream lighter, and all of a sudden, everything is better for him. And I'm not talking, this is a long time ago. We're talking about right now. That shit is still like, something happened where they brainwashed everybody to believe that lighter meant better.
Well, look at
they're rebranding all those lightning creams right now too.
But look at everything we have, dude. TV, movies. I mean, America sells its culture, which is the white culture. Music. I mean, until hip hop, it was all white shit. It was all rock and roll and stuff like that. Then, then hip-hop came. I mean, hip-hop's fucking taking over. Look at the influence it's had in, like, the Caribbean countries with these guys like Bad Bunny and J Balvin and these guys now they're becoming mainstream, which I think is a fucking good thing. Do I listen to it? Fuck no. But, I mean, it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing, quite honestly.
You don't like Bad Bunny?
Yeah.
I don't really know what he sings, I'll be honest with you. I just know the name. But it's a good thing that I know his name. I mean, you know what I'm saying? If you're an artist and people just know your name, it's a fucking good thing, man.
He's like the world's number one pop star, right? That's what he is right now. He's like the world's number one pop star.
Is he number one?
Yeah, he's up there. I think he is. Yeah.
God damn. Well, I know he made a song with somebody like Cardi B or somebody, and he's made a couple songs with different people, right? I mean, that's what I heard.
Yeah, yes.
So you guys could tell me more about that shit. I don't know. I mean, I stick with my old shit. Nirvana, bro. When I was in high school, that was my Pearl Jam. The grunge movement, the grunge scene was barely starting. I was a Nirvana guy, but I'm also a big Carlos Santana fan, dude. I mean, fucking from Tijuas, and I'm a big fan of, hip hop. We grew up with hip hop. NWA when it just started Too Short, bro. Like shit like that. Like Even the new rappers, I don't even know. Like, you tell me Chance the Rapper, I've heard of him. What does he sing? I don't fucking know. I just mentioned the other day, J. Cole. I don't know what the fuck he sings. I know the name. I know Drake. Like my son, he likes Post Malone. I know who he is. You know, shit like that. Like, you know, but give me
going back to what you were saying, dude. That's like the currency, America's currency. Like, we sell that to the other countries, and that's what they buy into.
But we buy, like, the rest of the world buys American culture, and then we want to be like that. You know, we want to be like them. Like, everybody wants to be like I've said this many times. Watching TV, growing up, I thought I was as American as anybody on television. You know, that when you're a little kid and you're in the United States, hey, fucking, you know, different strokes. Arnold, he's American. So am I. Ricky Schroeder, Silver Spoons, rich American. But I'm American too. I'm not rich, but I'm American just like him. Then when you get older, you start noticing that there's differences, man. You're not the same. You're not treated the same. You don't have the same opportunity. Well, they say you have the same opportunities. In theory, you do, but 100%, absolutely not. Look at the comedy game, Martin. How many comedians of Latino descent get pilots? They shoot 30 pilots. How many are Latino? One.
Number one.
One. And, you know, I mean, it was George before. Now it's Gabriel. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's la neta way. And that's not, I mean, I'm not trying to badmouth it. It's just, it's the system. It's not Gabriel. It's not George. It's the fucking system.
Sí, yo creo que poco a poco it is changing. You know, right now, maybe because there's so many platforms, but I feel like there's way more content than there's ever been. You know, I started in this game in 2000, and I remember people said, it's time for Latinos. It's time for Latinos. And then George didn't even have a show yet. He still hadn't, when I started, George still hadn't had a show. And they were like, it's time for Latinos. It's time for Latinos. And like, yeah, it's time for Latinos. That was 20 years ago. You know, the things that I expected to happen 20 years ago are slowly but surely happening now. You know, you turn on almost any kind of streaming service and you're going to find some Latino programming, which is fantastic. And I think now it's just a matter of putting more out there, you know, so that the quality, not shitting on the quality right now. I think that, you know, everything's great for what it is. It opens up a lot of doors for everybody else, but the more stuff that's out there, it's only going to evolve to be, you know, way better content with the people that it's inspiring. Because if they don't see somebody out there doing it, they don't think they can do it, you know? When I was coming up, the only comedian I ever saw on television was Paul Rodriguez. That was the only one. No había nadie más. No. And there was no internet. There was nowhere to go Google. There was nowhere to go YouTube. Whenever he came out, and that was it. Once he was gone, he was gone. Once Que Locos hit the air, it inspired like a fucking avalanche of brown comedians, because now they were seeing brown motherfuckers on TV saying, I can do that, I can do that. And I think the same thing is happening now with the shows that are out there. It's saying to people, holy fuck, I can write something, I can create something. You know, you don't have to wait for somebody to give you something anymore. Yeah. We have more technology in this chingadera than a lot of the guys had when they made some of the first movies, you know? So ahora the only reason now, you know, es porque la pinche hueva, cabrón, no por no tener la oportunidad, because you could create your own opportunity. There's a TV station out there called fucking YouTube. So it's just a matter of putting it out there. And if it's good, believe me, people will fucking share it. It'll resonate with people. It's just got to be fucking good.
Oh, absolutely. I'm 100% with you. I was gonna mention that shit that you just mentioned. The opportunities are. I mean, look at Netflix offering us, you know, Spanish specials. Mm-hmm. I mean, you know, like Carlos' specials on Netflix. Yeah. We wouldn't have had that shit, you know, 10 years ago, bro. I mean, there was no really stand-up scene in Spanish, but there was no Polo Polo on there. No. You know what I'm saying? Like, Polo Polo's a fucking god, bro. I mean,
well, you know what? Let's backtrack a little bit there, Cisco. I'm going to correct you because I could be wrong, but I think Richard Villa sold a special to Netflix over 10 years ago.
10 years ago? No, not 10 years ago. Probably like a little after that.
Well, yeah,
Either
like
way, the
6
fact
years
that
ago. Yeah.
he created it. No. The one that he recorded at the Improv, at the Hollywood Improv, he recorded a special, and it went on Netflix for a little while. It wasn't on. It's not on there anymore, but it went on there, and it's because Netflix didn't have a vast library, so they were buying up. If somebody showed up and said, "Te quiero vender esto, here's this content I created," they were swallowing it up.
The Spanish one?
Sigue la risa era, ¿no?
It was no. That was a different one. No, you know what? You're right. It wasn't Spanish. It was English, but he was a Latino.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about a Spanish one. No, I'm talking about a Spanish one. Yeah, you're right. It's been a lot. I mean, but I think we're seeing more of it now. We're seeing a lot more of it now. You know what I mean? Like it's changing. Like you said, it's changing. But and the Spanish, there's a lot more Spanish. Look, man, when I started doing Spanish stand-up, I started doing it because that was a goal of mine. Like I used to tell my wife, my wife and I got married in 2004. I started comedy in 2003. I got married in late 2004 and in December. And I remember telling my wife, you know what? I'd like to do stand-up comedy in Spanish one day. I mean, I would love to go like Mexico City and do it. And it was always a dream of mine to do it. That was a goal. Yeah. It was not because of opportunity. It was not because, oh, shit, let's see what's over here. It's because of my love, my goal, my challenge for me. Because my Spanish, like many other Spanish-speaking pochos, was horrendous. You know, I mean, even though I could speak it, I can be, people would understand me. I couldn't do stand-up comedy in Spanish. Fast forward to 2011, I get a radio show in Spanish. And I almost turned it down. I told the lady, I go, man, you think people want to hear me talk Spanish for 4 hours? I go, damn. And I told my wife, I gotta better my Spanish. I mean, like I'm interviewing, you know, I'm interviewing these artists, musicians, actors, celebrities que hablan puro español, güey. And I'm like, fuck it, I can't be there like, so dime, you know, I can't be talking like that and shit. I never spoke that way, but I'm exaggerating. But I had to get better. And then it wasn't until 2 years after doing that show that I finally had the courage to say, you know what? I've been talking Spanish every day, 4 days an hour. I mean, the people love my show. The guests love my show. You know, they tell me how well I speak. I'm down to do some comedy now. Now I'm down to do it in Spanish. But before that, I couldn't. Yeah. So it was a goal. And, you know, and I got to go to Mexico City and I met people like Carlos and the Siete Machos, all those guys. Yeah. And they opened their arms to me. They were receptive. They were fucking really cool with me. They gave me stage time. I got to go up in a lot of shows. They paid me. Fuck. I was like, shit, I'm just here to do some spots. But like, you know, and we have, I mean, the people ask me, yeah, like when you're making money, it's great. But I love when you start in comedy because of the innocence of it. The innocence of comedy. You still haven't been affected by the business side. Once the business side gets into it, kind of fucks up the comedy for you, bro. Like it did for me. Everybody's differently, but the business, if you could just make money and not deal with all the politics and all that bullshit and get up and do your show, it's fucking beautiful. But once, especially in America, once the politics get into it and you know, I mean, I believe in the divide and conquer theory, man. You know, when they give us one opportunity, they're dividing us and conquering us because then we start talking shit about each other. You know, Martin, more than anybody, all the beefs, you know, over the years, and it's all because of opportunity and because one guy feels the other person's taking that opportunity for them and they're not getting the opportunity. And that's just divide and conquer. That's the history of the Anglo way, man.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's true. You know, business has a way of fucking things up in your perception of things. You know, when there's no business or politics, and it's just for the love and for the passion of the art. Of course, that's where it's at. You know, to just go somewhere because you want to be on stage, because you want to hold the microphone. You know, this is the first thing I did in my whole life where I've never called in sick. You know, every job I had before this, I would call in sick. This is the only job that I've showed up to. And when I feel like shit, it makes me feel better. This is the only thing that I've showed up and done for free. where they're not paying me and I'm driving far to get up on a stage for 20 fucking minutes, for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And
For
I'm doing
6,
it,
bro.
you know,
I drove to fucking
still,
San Clemente for 6 minutes when I was starting in a 4x4.
Not when I was starting. Like, I'll still do that. Like, I'll still go somewhere and show up and get on stage just because I still love it. I can't imagine not going. Like right now, there hasn't been any shows, and this is probably the longest time in the last 21 years that I haven't performed, and it's fucking with me, to be honest. You know, so I think the business can jade you, but I think that you know, when you look deep down into the passion, because that's why we all got into this shit, is because the passion and the love for it. If you don't have passion and love for it, why the fuck do it? It's a hard fucking business that takes a lot of, you take a lot of chingazos. So if you don't love it, fucking go clock in somewhere.
And you know what? It's opportunity. It's kind of like, you got to work hard. You got to stay on top of your material and shit. But at the same time, like, you got to be at the right place at the right time sometimes, man. That's how I became a paid regular at the Comedy Store. Not because I was funnier than anybody else, but I was there at the right place at the right time. Pauly Shore walked in, saw me doing the Friends and Family on a Monday night, told Tommy, brought me over to the booth. Pauly Shore tells Tommy, Mom needs to see him. And that's how I got my showcase. Like, you know, there's guys who fucking showed up every Sunday and Monday to go up, Friends and Family, never got a fucking showcase. That was my second. Never got passed, never got a showcase. My second time doing that fucking Friends and Family, Pauly Shore walks in, sees me, Mom needs to see him. And that's how I got my showcase, and that's how I became a paid regular. But, you know what I'm saying? Like, fucking luck. Dude, another thing, right place at the right time. Martin Moreno, you're the one that got me my first spot at the Laugh Factory. You told Chris, what was his name? Chris, ¿cómo se llamaba? Chris Martinez, hey, we did Wild Coyote. And I remember you pulled me over to the fucking booth and you said, Chris, because Chris used to listen to you. I don't know if you threatened him or what, but he's listening to you. No, man. Te tenía miedo, güey. And I remember you go, hey, you got to throw him up, bro. What's up? When you got a spot for him. And he gave me a spot. And after that, I became kind of like a regular on shows there at the Laugh Factory. So
it is opportunity a lot of times. You know, it's luck, it's opportunity, but it's also, you're also prepared for it, because you can have all the luck and the opportunity, but if you're not ready for that chance, you can fuck it up. You know, so it's a combination of a lot of everything, because anybody could be given opportunities, pero también la pueden cagar right away.
And that's anything in life, bro. Period. Yeah, sure. Straight up. Ballarta, man. I mean, like, I remember Ballarta, you know, you did Comedy Central, you did the Están Parados, and then you did an interview with Rene Franco, and bam, how many millions of views? I don't think
they uploaded it to different Facebook pages, and it got like maybe 16 million in one page and like 20 million in another page. It got very popular among Spanish-speaking people in Latin America, because there were a couple of people in Colombia that, you know, saw that too, and that was good for me as well.
And Rene used to have celebrities on there that, you know, at the time Carlos wasn't known. He was just a comedian. Yeah. I mean, he done a couple of, you know, and Rene, you'd have celebrities, and they weren't getting 20 million views, but it was something, like you said, prepared for, because he did a little, it was a little like a skit, like you were talking about the intricacies of the El DF, and, you know, I love this about the city, and kind of poking fun of it, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was actually like it was one of a routine that I wrote, and it was like between me and him. But I believe that, I mean, I haven't been in this business as long as you guys have been in it, but I think that sometimes whenever the business fucks it up for all of us, it's got a lot to do with the way our egos are fed, because of the people cheering at us for what we're doing. So sometimes we think we're more than we actually are, and we fuck it up ourselves sometimes.
That's true. That could be. I mean, I know, like, I got very early in my career, I got showcases for Montreal twice. And I was like, fuck, these guys fucking suck on the show. And I thought I was hot shit and all that. Man, I went up to Jen Colbert Dude, I went up there, 7 straight comics ate dog shit. And they were like, fuck, man. And so I went up there and I said, fuck that. I got to do something different. These motherfuckers are eating shit. So I go up there and I go, man, there's a lot of fine bitches in this motherfucker, you know? Scared the white people. That was it. I had to dig myself out of that hole. I got them to laugh and all that, but that was it. And then the next year they put me, we did a showcase for Montreal. I got on again. And it was like, I forgot where we did it. It was just a fucking weird little place, like just a weird vibe like I wasn't used to. And it just, the timing, the laugh, I couldn't hear the laughs and the timing.
Is that the Montreal in Canada, the Haha Fest?
Yeah, it was for that. So yeah. I got invited twice thanks to Brett Ernst, my boy Brett Ernst. He hooked that up. And, you know, he's like, he told the booker, like, you got to get him on. He's funny. And I appreciate that shit. But I was my own worst enemy those 2 times, bro. I was my own worst enemy. And I got in my head a lot. I got a little arrogant the first time. The second time, I went in more afraid because I said, I might not get another chance. And if and I was fucking, instead of just being me, I tried to fucking be something I wasn't. I fucked that up. So I never got the 3rd try, dude. That was it. I think that girl, she moved up positions. She wasn't booking it no more. So I lost my contact with her. Or she changed position. So yeah, man, I mean, you get opportunities, you got to make the most of them. I had to accept full accountability for that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to, I'm not going to blame on anybody else. I had that opportunity and I fucking blew it. So how many people, I mean, don't get a fucking showcase from Montreal? You know what I mean? Like, it's tough. That's not an easy thing to come by.
It's crazy the way that this business works. You know, there's comics that grind it out for, you know, 20, 30 years. They make a living, but
Look at Joey Diaz.
Yeah, he was around for a very long time before he broke. But he's an example of somebody that went to the next level. There's guys out there that never go to that next level. And then there's people that start off, they have maybe 10 minutes, and before you know it, they're fucking famous, you know? Chris Tucker blew up with less than 20 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, off of that Def Jam set. It might have been a 7, maybe 10-minute set. It was fantastic. Yeah. And it was original, and nobody had done that style before. For an African American to stand out from all the, right now they're comparing us to Gabriel, George, and Paul, and Carlos maybe, Felipe now. Pero African Americans son un chingo que han venido antes. So for somebody to stand out, it was really phenomenal the way that he did that shit.
It's funny, you never hear anybody be compared to Chappelle. Like, it's either like, oh, he's another Kevin Hart or he's another Martin. But they never say Chappelle or even Pryor. I mean, no, I've heard Pryor. I've heard the Pryor. But I like Eddie Murphy, people like that, you know, like back then. But
yeah, but I mean, this guy was like his own, you know, he stood the fuck. But it was, again, he only had a little bit of material, is my point.
Yeah, I remember.
And he found success, not overnight because he had grinded it out. Pero, you know, there's other comedians, you know, out there who have one bit that goes viral, and before you know it, they're headlining. You know,
dude, Angela Johnson fucking blew up off fucking the nail salon bit.
Yeah,
and you know, I mean, hey, credit to
an hour yet.
Hey, no, she didn't. I don't even think she had 20 minutes.
Well, I don't know. I didn't know her back then. I was on the road all the
time. No, I think she was headlining with 20 minutes. But wow. Hey, a credit to her. She sustained her fucking, I mean, because people used to criticize her off one bit, fucking one bit. But a credit to her, she's maintained herself where she still sells out shows, and she does her hour, and now she's made multiple videos. So I mean, dude, that's
to admirable. The point of uno nunca sabe, you know, like I said, there's very funny people that for years, chinga, nothing happens. Then somebody shows up, they have 10 minutes, and before you know it, they're superstars, you know? There's no way to package this thing. If you could package it and say, así se hace, you'd be a billionaire because there's no recipe for it.
Well, that's the problem, Martin, is that's one of the biggest issues is that comedians are like sheep. They see one guy pega con algo and everybody wants to copy that. And they want to, look, how many overweight guys wanted to be Gabriel? How many guys? How many? Seriously. How many overweight guys wanted to be Gabriel?
A lot of them.
Lots of them. Yeah. Like every this guy's the next Gabriel. This guy's the next Gabriel. Or or they'd see a guy, this guy's the next George, or you know what I mean, like shit, like
not the next anything. It's like Carlos is Carlos, you're Cisco, I'm Martin, you're Jose. You know, there's nobody. You're not gonna be the next anything. You just gotta fucking find your own path and find your tribe and resonate with those fuckers.
Very very funny guy, and clean comic, Carlos Oscar, man. Very fucking funny, dude. Like sometimes you wonder how come that guy didn't get big. I mean, I know he was hitting for a while, but how come he didn't get bigger than that? Because I mean, he's sellable, he's marketable,
and he was clean.
He was clean. You know, I mean, I could see him in a TV show. I mean, but you like I said, you never know. Like you said, there's not a package. It's not.
There isn't.
One size fits all.
And even if it was packaged, I think people would see through the. It's not authentic enough. It's just coming off like I don't know, just like store bought.
So like you going back to Carlos, you said Carlos has a very unique look, and I think that's something that managers and agents are not stupid. They know they can market you. They know they can market you to the masses because you look more like most Mexicans than your agent does. You know what I'm saying? I mean, am I lying? I mean, fuck,
No.
And plus, you like in the first special, you talked about stuff like one of my favorite bits is the one like, we always go to the Olympics and we're good in boxing and walking because that's all we do. He said, that's all we do. We walk everywhere and we're quick to agarrarnos a putazos. Like what the fuck? That's how we do so good in the Olympics and those two events and shit.
Such a good
observation. By that logic, then Asians should be like the best at cycling or all that biking they do.
Nah, they're too short, bro. Fucking white people got those long ass legs. They can pedal like fucking I don't know how many revolutions and shit. Fucking an Asian guy got to fucking pedal like this. A white guy does this, and that's like fucking 30 Asian pedals and shit. Come on, am I lying? That's the fact. Look at that girl Lorena, man, the runner. You know what I'm saying? Like shit. Like why is she a big story? Why is she a big story? She's running in fucking sandals. You seen it, Martin?
No.
The Tarahumara girl from Mexico. She goes and runs around the world 100 kilometers races and wins. And she runs in a falda, in a skirt, and huaraches, bro.
Yeah, there's a documentary on Netflix about that.
It's on Netflix. It's like 28 minutes long. It's fucking dope, dude.
What is it called?
Lorena.
Yeah,
Lorena. Yeah, and she doesn't even.
That's kind of like a cultural thing. They're called Raramuris. That's a cultural thing for them. They actually they used to run, like compete among each other, and that's like one of the things that they do is a cultural thing. So that's they just like running for some reason. It's like a ceremonial cultural thing.
But it's funny because we're talking about like discrimination and racism, but you see all the white Mexican, vamos Lorena. It's like the old like Mencia used to have a joke how Mencia used to have a joke that he used to say like how like America doesn't like Mexicans. Oh, but when De La Hoya fought for the gold medal, oh, we're just fucking around. Come on, boy. Beat that motherfucker up. Get that gold medal. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how it's cuando les conviene. Cuando les conviene, eres mexicano. Cuando no les conviene, you're just that fucking, you're a waste of sperm or whatever they want to fucking say. I mean, dude, your president right now, Ballarta, you a big fan or not?
No, I'm not a big fan.
You're not a big fan? You think he's fucking up, man? I mean, I'm hearing all the shit that he's, they didn't let him, I saw that they didn't let him into Cuernavaca yesterday.
Yeah, it was yesterday. Yeah,
the people lined up the street and didn't let the president in to their town.
Damn, that's gangster.
They told him, get the fuck out of here. Straight up.
Yeah. He's been, he was very popular at the beginning. There was an oil shortage and he was being supported by a lot of people, but now his approval ratings have dropped to 50% or something. He was at an 85-80% at the beginning, and he's gone very, very low now. He's fucked up in a lot of things.
We got our troubles in this country.
What's the major cause of because that's a big drop in popularity. I mean, you have to fuck up pretty bad, because even Donald Trump, people are not his biggest fans, but his popularity, whether people like it or not, is still pretty high. What did freaking AMLO do for it to drop like that?
I mean, I don't know. When he started his campaign, he was like campaigning as like this champion of freedom and for the poor people and all of it. But it turned out that his governing style is very similar to what, the PRI did back in the 20th century. So that's pretty much it. We're going back to the same shit. And most of his party, the party that he belongs to, is made up of a lot of ex-priistas, and that's just fucking the country up. A lot of people thought that he was gonna be more liberal about it, but he turned out to be just another authoritarian
He's
president.
extremely liberal. He's a socialist. He's a dude. A guy fucking. I heard he repeats things that Maduro says in Venezuela. That's what we were talking about the other day. He like quotes that motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like, and Venezuela's not in a good position, bro. I don't know if that's like a government you want to emulate. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if you were aware of this, Martin, but AMLO came out the other day and told Mexicans that they should be happy with what they have and shouldn't look for more and seek to have more. If you have frijolitos and that's it, and enjoy your frijolitos. Don't look for the steak, basically.
Well, you could get mad at that, but then get mad at the priest every Sunday because that's the same fucking message they sell you in church. Your reward is in heaven. Don't look for it on earth. What the fuck is the difference,
But, religion is, I have my beef with religion. I've had my beefs with religion forever. I mean, they've caused more wars and conquered more people than anybody, bro. They've caused division.
That's how Mexico got conquered. Mexico had gold and the freaking Spaniards had the Bible. And now the Mexicans have the Bible. Those chingazos from the Spaniards hit so hard that till this day, fucking Mexicans do this every time they fucking leave the house. That's how hard the chingazos were from that fucking conquest.
Here in California too, bro. I mean,
I don't know if you guys are religious. I'm not trying to offend anybody.
I'm not religious.
No.
I'm not religious. Look, man, I think I honestly, I've known people who religion has saved their life. It's changed their life or whatever. But I've known the people that my whole life que se daban golpes de pechos, and they're worst fucking human beings I've ever met. And then I know atheists who are the best human beings I've ever met. The most giving, the most caring, the most empathetic, whereas the religious person is supposed to represent all those qualities and they don't. How does that happen?
Be like the most like judgmental people.
Yeah. Trying to tell you what to do, what not to do.
AMLO's going to end up being a hero though, and I'll tell you why. A lot of the manufacturing that was happening in China is going to move to Mexico.
That's what I heard too.
Mexico is going to come up on a shit ton of, and then that's why they just renegotiated this deal, the new NAFTA, whatever the fuck the old NAFTA was, nobody knows. You couldn't fucking read that shit to save your life, but whatever this new deal that got written in, I think there's going to be a shit ton of better paying jobs. I had no idea that minimum wage over in Tijuana is like fucking $13, $15 a day, bro.
Oh, yeah, bro. It's 200 pesos.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't know
200 pesos a day.
How much?
200 pesos.
A day. Yeah,
a
for
day.
A whole day of work.
A day, yes.
So when you see that and you're thinking, like, I don't know what they were paying in China, but when you think about, these companies, these companies from the United States, where minimum wage here is about to go up to $15 an hour, when they take these manufacturers to Mexico, that, they're going to be making, I mean, I don't know how they'll compensate them. I can't imagine it'll be minimum wage. I think it'll probably be a little bit better than minimum wage. And so I think there's going to be a lot of jobs, not necessarily because of what the president's doing. He just happens to talk about right place, right time. This trade war is going to benefit Mexico more than any other. It's going to benefit Mexico, and I think India is going to be another recipient of the manufacturing jobs.
Oh yeah, I read about that. They said that Vietnam and Mexico.
Yes.
Vietnam and Mexico were going to be the next China. Yeah. So China's gotten expensive. Because China, the per capita income back in the day was like $300 a month or some shit like that. Yeah. And now it's $3,000 a month.
Yes.
So like they're making way more money. Wages went up. People, I mean, I'm sure this is only in the cities because China got a lot of rural areas. So there's probably a lot of people in the rural areas taking it in the ass still, man.
So I think Mexico is going to be, you know, the next country to get, and because let's face it, these companies are going to exploit them, because if they were paying that labor here, they wouldn't be able to make such a huge fucking profit, you know.
Yeah.
But when I said, like I said, a border town like Tijuana is less than $15 a fucking day. Like, dude, even if you're paying somebody $25 a day, you're still, that's not even 2 hours of labor in the United States, you know.
That's why that's why I don't know how well you know people who live in Mexico. Like, I know, like, family I have, bro. That's why there's some of them, they have to go buy groceries on credit at the little store, man. I've seen that shit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm like, fuck. And I'm like, man, these motherfuckers though, but they survive. They find a way to survive.
The pueblo that my mom was from, I mean, they used to say, "Yo en such and such en la Conasupo fían," you know, te van a fiar, you know, you go and you fucking, they give you the money and they write down what you took and then you pay when you have the fucking money.
That's some crazy shit.
That's been going on since, and that was in the fucking 70s, homie.
Yeah, that's, it's fucking incredible, dude. I mean, I don't know. I don't know about AMLO being a hero, man, but I mean, because if he's a hero, that means Trump's a hero. And then people are going to like Trump too, because he signed that deal, and I don't see that happening. But I guess 2 negatives do equal positive. So
money's coming and putting food on the table, people are going to fucking take it, brother.
Yeah, so, there is a lot of, he's got a strong fan base, actually. There's a lot of people. This is for the first time in my life, and possibly like my mom's life too, that there's a strong sector of the population that actually supports the president, regardless of whatever he says and whatever he does. There's people there saying, yes, he's doing the right thing and we're going to follow him. This is the first time actually since Lázaro Cárdenas, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, so the same thing with Trump. So when he started off, you know, he said, you know, he has like a 75% approval rating, and then it went down to like, you know, 30%. But the thing is, that 30%, it's never going to go any lower than 30%, because those 30% are like hardcore, like they buy the merch, they buy the hats, like they go to the rallies. Like, it's never going to go any lower than that. That, and you add on top of that is, I'm not wrong, I'm going to ride with this guy like to the death. So you have like those strong fanatics that are just going to ride regardless.
Yeah.
Dude, it's fucking. And with all this, with our presidents being crazy, and then all this racism shit in the news, and I guess some shit just came out in Tucson where this Hispanic kid died the way George Floyd died, that a cop sat on him.
Really?
And he said, I can't breathe, started calling out for his grandma, and and they killed him. And now it's a Latino, bro, in Tucson. So
I didn't hear about this.
Shit's hitting the fan, man. Shit's hitting the, look, man, I've said it before. Cops are under a lot of pressure, man. That's a hard fucking job. But it's like any job. When you get a job, I told my son, my oldest son, he's 26. When you get a job, when you take that job, you got to do the best you can, and you know what it's gonna take to be successful at that job. You know, you got to be there a certain time. They're gonna tell you what to do. I mean, but what other choice do you have? You got to be fucking happy until something better comes along, man. You can't take the job and then complain about it. So I'm saying, so cops, I think, you know, it's an admirable thing they do. I mean, they put their life on the line, but fuck, man. Some of these motherfuckers, I mean, look at the cops in, was it North Carolina? That they got them on tape saying there's going to be a race war and I'm going to shoot a bunch of these, you know, N-words and shit. And they got them on tape. Saying this shit.
I didn't hear this one. When was this?
There's going to be a revolution. Oh, dude, look it up. North Carolina police, just look it up, and it'll come up. It just came out like 2 days ago or a day ago.
Okay, I haven't heard that one.
But the Latino kid, my boy Matt just told me about it. Matt Claybrooks, he works with Chris Rock, so he's always into the politics and all that. And I was talking to him today, and he was telling me, yeah, he goes, a Hispanic kid in Tucson, the police sat on his chest, said just like George Floyd, he said, I can't breathe. They fucking killed him. Like the guy just stayed on top of him. And I was like, I go, man, it's not getting any better, man. And Arizona's a Republican state. So I mean, what's up? No, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I can see that shit happening, I was gonna say.
And in Guadalajara, didn't they have another protest as well?
Yeah,
like
Giovanni.
a few weeks ago, because they killed that kid. They tortured that fucking kid because he didn't have a mask.
Yeah.
And they protest the whole fucking different way over there in freaking in Mexico, bro, because I saw them pour gasoline on that fucking cop.
Yeah.
Dude, you know, that's a whole nother level of fucking salvaje right there, bro.
Salvaje,
No,
este güey. This
No,
guy's
neta, cabrón. Fuck. Es una cosa darle un madrazo, güey, pero quemarlo.
En Estados
Yeah, I
Unidos,
mean-
en Estados Unidos se meten a las tiendas y se chingan las teles y todo. En México queman a la policía.
Dude, that's fucking crazy, bro.
Yeah, you wouldn't
Yeah.
see those shit like that here. They would have got shot.
Oh.
Everybody would have got shot if they tried to pour gas. As soon as it's gas, pop, 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 pop.
Yeah.
Maybe they would have started a fire with the fucking gun flame or some shit. But yeah, that's crazy, dude. And you're in Guadalajara, so you got
Yeah.
close. You got an up close view of all that shit.
No, I wasn't here when that happened, but there was a whole thing on Facebook and all of it. But I mean, yeah, that was some stupid shit just because he wasn't wearing a mask. And cops here, it's cops everywhere, I believe. It's a tough job, just like you said.
Yeah.
But most of them, they get sick because of all the power they're given. And that's what happens here. People that become cops, they just go crazy. And my family was tortured by a fucking cop for like a year. He would arrive home drunk and, shooting into the air and listening to music all night long and drinking alcohol. Nobody could do anything because he was a fucking cop.
Damn.
So if they go to the police station, they wouldn't even acknowledge that they had a problem. It was a whole street. We're talking about 30 families complaining to the police because of what was happening, and nobody did anything. And I mean, I don't know. They just go crazy with all that power, I guess.
Damn. Yeah, dude. Watch this movie on Netflix called The Stanford Prison Experiment. Have you guys ever seen that?
No.
Watch
I read
that
the
Watch
the
that
journal.
movie. It's Forrest Whitaker, and it's an experiment. I'll tell you what it's about. Where they took a bunch of Stanford, students, did this experiment where they took a bunch of people and they made some of them prison guards, and they made the other ones prisoners. And it's just, an experiment. You guys are going to interact. You're going to act like guards. You're going to act like prisoners. Well, how long do you think it took for the guys that were playing the role of prison guards to start abusing their authority?
Yeah.
And Forrest Whitaker is one of them, bro. You know that motherfucker. He's a bad motherfucker, bro. But shit, he played a nasty ass fucking prison guard. Like he started beating people. This is supposed to be an experiment. You're not supposed to be beating people, but it's the psychology, man.
And it's a hard fucking job, bro. It's a hard fucking job, and I'm not making excuses for
I have a
any
family
of
that's cops. I have family that are cops.
I'm not making excuses for any of them. There's a lot of shitty ones. But I was watching the documentary on 1992, the riots from 92 during Martin King. And, a lot of the narrative is the same. Nothing has changed. It's the underlying issue is still there, And I think that there's racism, but there's also fear. These guys are afraid. They're going into neighborhoods with rough fucking gangs. They're going in there with guys that are fucking killers, and they have to address them. And when they're driving into situations, they're approaching it like everybody is a fucking lunatic. And you can't do that. You got to give people the benefit of the doubt. You see some poor bastard walking down the street, it doesn't mean that he's trying to kill you. It's just some dude walking down the street. And unfortunately, when that person walking down the street is a person of color, be it black or brown or any dark shade, we tend to make people afraid. Si alguien me ve caminando a mí and it's fucking 2 o'clock in the morning and I'm just walking, minding my own business, they're probably going to be afraid of me. I'm almost 6 feet tall. I'm a fucking Mexican with long, crazy hair, a beard. They think that I'm up to no good for some reason.
My dick's hanging out of my pants.
And these motherfuckers, tienen miedo. So they approach every situation with fear. You can't fucking do that. If you're afraid, that's not a job for you.
The problem with that, Martin, is that those cops come from another community and come into this community, and they don't know the people there. Right, they don't know the people. I mean, some kids dress the same. Some kids, they're not thugs, but they're like, it's the hip hop culture. When it comes to the black community, even the Latino community, and they're good kids. They get good grades, whatever. They just like to dress like what they like. We were talking about what they see on TV. They want to emulate what they consider to be like successful or a successful way of, or they want to attract the girls, and you know that's the style or whatever. And these cops come into this community, and those cops make more money than anybody in that fucking community, and so and they look down on those people in that community. So that's where that's a big fucking problem. I mean, I think the only solution is to have cops who live within your community, who know the people, like the old days. You remember the old days when the cops knew it? Come on, Billy. Come on, come on, Martin, man. I know you're selling weed, dog. You know, I don't want to bring your ass in. You just don't do it here where the kids are, and where the ladies are and the kids are. Stop fucking selling the weed around here, man. Go do that shit. You know what I mean? Go do it with the white people or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, but they knew each other and there was respect. Now, cops come, like I said, come from over there. They don't know each other. They don't fucking know. You look like one of those fucking, I got a call on the radio and you look like the suspect we're looking for.
Or even worse, if they have like mental health problems or something, you know?
Yeah, they don't know about that. I mean, look at the guy that they body slammed in, was that Carolina too? That was like yesterday or the day before. They body slammed that black man. It's on camera. They body slam him. And then you hear the cop with the camera on his chest go, that's the wrong guy.
Oh,
they broke the guy's ribs. And they said, that's the wrong guy. That's the wrong guy. No, that's not him, man. The suspect's over there. You can hear the cop saying, the suspect's over there because this is not him. I was trying to tell you. And he goes, I was trying to tell you. The guy just snuck up behind the black man, the other cop that pulled up after, snuck up behind him. You could see him in the background walking to the guy, grabs him, turns around, body slams him, and lands on top of him. And it was like an older black guy and broke his ribs or some shit. I'm like, God damn, dude. And okay, and I understand what you're saying, that we're these heavily gang-infested neighborhoods, but come on, some of these dudes don't even look like gang members and just fucking their ass up for no reason. It's like older people and shit. No está cabrón, way.
Yeah, no, I guarantee you one thing. We ain't fixing that shit tonight.
No, we're not. We're not. But hey, they're not hiring. You know, it's funny because they're not hiring me and you, or they're not hiring cops that live in HP to police fucking Laguna Hills.
Yeah, for real.
You know, but they'll hire a guy who lives in Laguna Hills to police Huntington Park. You know what I'm saying? And that's a disparity too.
You know, and y aquí te agarran a chingazos. In Mexico, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but right there, they just bribe you, right?
No, también te madrean, güey. También te madrean si quieren.
También te madrean?
Yeah, if they want to. But the people don't respect the cops in Mexico. Vete la verga, they'll tell them, and fucking. ¿Sí o no, Carlos? ¿Sí o no?
Yeah, we got no respect for cops in the military here. Like, we just don't think about those two people. I don't know. I mean, cops have, like, people look down on cops here because they think they can be bought if you give them enough money. Yeah. But that also talks about how much, people that take on those jobs are willing to go to just get a little extra, because they're not being paid well, and they're not people that want to be cops. They become cops because that's the only job that's available for them.
Damn,
that's a great point. They that's one of the arguments they're bringing up over here, because there's a big movement where they're saying defund the police. We're giving too much money to the police department, and people are saying, well, if you defund the police and you take away the funds, they're going to be easier to bribe. Just like in countries where they don't make a lot of money and there's no funds there, then they want to supplement their income, and usually the people that are able to hire that protection are criminals. So then the criminals will hire the cops. So that's like the big thing with defund the police here in the States. One of the, the arguments that the other side is saying is this is one of the risks we take by defunding the police.
So what would happen? What do you think if they defunded the police and say, which they're not going to do, bro. Come on. The big corporations have too much money invested in prisons. You've seen like the people that own prisons. They're like the richest people in this country.
Those are two different things, though.
Yeah. See, I don't know if you know this, Carlos. No, but they don't want fucking arrests to go down. They need to make their money, bro. They need to make their money. They need to replace those prisoners that walk out or whatever. They make a lot of money off those prisons.
Yeah, I used to work at a call center here in Mexico City that was servicing a company called CBS, I guess it was like Correctional Billing Services or something. Whenever people got detained, they were given a phone call, and that phone call lasted only 5 seconds. And after 5 seconds of a person calling like their family, the call would just drop and said, if you want to get some more minutes, you have to call to Correctional Billing Services, and they can make up an account. And they used to pay a lot of money.
Fuck
and, yeah. And it was people that were being, they were paying a lot of money, and sometimes
extorted,
their phones,
kind of.
Yeah, their calls would just drop. And whenever you were in training, they would tell you if people call because of this and this and this, you just tell them there is no solution and you're trying to work on it. They can't do anything. We service these prisons, and they cannot go to a different service. And they know about that, and they exploit that.
Oh, yeah, bro. My brother was in jail 2 years ago. You know how much it used to cost me to fucking call him or to receive his calls?
Yeah, with that GTC or GTL, whatever it's called.
Yeah. I had to fucking put money. Dude, it's like $3 or $4 a minute. Some exaggerating, bro. Yeah. They don't fuck around, dude. And then, and then they sell them shit in there at a fucking jack up the prices también. Fucking, you know.
Where do these motherfuckers get money to call Art LeBeau on Sunday, bro?
No Art LeBeau slander.
Hey, the $20 they put on their fucking books, that se fue la llamada Art LeBeau.
Those fucking cholos are making dedications from the jails every Sunday, and they're long dedications.
Yeah.
These motherfuckers are proposing. They got to save up for that proposal to make that fucking dedication.
That was my routine. Every Sunday I would listen to Art LeBeau, or like even in high school, like all the Dedicated to You, volume 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like all of them.
My son, when he was young, you know, we used to be driving around, and if it was a Sunday, I'd play Art LeBeau, and I'd be like, hey, man, you're going to do a dedication to your homies in Tucson, because he had lived in Tucson for a minute, right? Like, you're going to do a dedication to your homies in Tucson? And he'd be like, shut. Like, he was like, I go, it's Art LeBeau. I'm playing Art LeBeau because you want to hear it. I used to torture that motherfucker with fucking Art LeBeau. Now that he's a grown-up, listening to Art LeBeau every Sunday. And the dedications are everybody's favorite part. When you hear these fucking people.
Or when he reads the dedications for you.
Yes.
I was like, this is to Martha from Cisco, sending you a big kiss. Mwah!
Yeah.
And he does a kiss.
Oh yeah. Do they have something like that in Mexico, Carlos?
Yeah, they do. Pretty much every station is like that.
Sí.
You can call to any station and just tell them that you want to dedicate a song to your
girlfriend.
Pero no los güeyes que están en la cárcel, ¿o sí?
No, en la cárcel no.
Carlitos te manda un abrazo de la reclu. Carlitos te manda un abrazo de la reclu. Dice que te quiere mucho, que pronto se verán otra vez y que por favor le mandes una caja de cigarros.
Funny, dude.
No, serious shit, dude. Yeah, dude. So they still have Art LeBeau? I didn't even know that was on.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. What station is it on?
Everywhere.
92.3 and what else? And then depending on
all over the place.
Yeah, and then depending on what city, like I've heard Art LeBeau in New Mexico and freaking Texas, like
everywhere.
So hey guys, what do you think? They're saying that, well, at least the United States. I don't know about Mexico, Carlos, but I mean Mexico's the corona is everywhere, bro. And did you didn't get it, right, Carlos, or you did get it?
Yeah, I did get it. Yeah.
Did anybody else in your family get it?
No, nobody got it. It was just me, and I was in contact with like 14 people, and I was like, monitoring them, and nobody got it. It was just me.
That's some crazy. They probably gave it to you. Maybe they were probably asymptomatic, and you got it from one of them. That's probably what happened. Yeah,
that could have been.
My brothers had it. I have twin brothers. They both got it. My stepdad got. Dude, my stepdad. You want to hear something funny? Mexicano, güey. Yo no le tengo miedo al pinche coronavirus. Dice, yo tomo Bud Light, eso mata el virus. Fucking drinking. So he was drinking the whole time, and then they started fixing my mom's house. They were remodeling the kitchen, all that. So my brother, my stepdad, and then they had a guy they hired that was doing all the work. They all got it. They all four of them fucking got it, and my mom had to leave. Luckily my mom left because my mom's diabetic. That would have been bad for her. So she went and stayed with my other brother. And they fucking all got it, bro. They said they had a fever like one day, and then that was it. Like they just had back pain and pain in their joints, a headache, lost the sense of smell. But that didn't really last very long. The what lasts the most is the pain in your body, like the pain in your joints.
Yeah.
How was it for you, Carlos?
Yeah, the same. I got a headache, and maybe I had like a fever one day, like you said, and the pain like was it was, you were tired all the time. Sometimes you weren't tired, and then you got tired all of a sudden. And I had like a lot of diarrhea for 2 weeks. I had that shit. I lost like 5 kilograms. I don't know how much that is in pounds, but I
10 pounds.
I lost some weight. Yeah.
It's 11 pounds. That's 11 pounds. Yeah. Fuck.
Yeah.
Damn. That's.
How about your?
I hope I get it, man. I could lose fucking 11 pounds.
Breathing, I had like some problem breathing the first 2 days maybe, and then it was all fine.
Yeah, my brother said he couldn't sleep. He se acostaba y le molestaba. Like I can't lay down. Then he would stand up and it would bother him. He said he couldn't get comfortable at all. He had trouble sleeping. It's like where he could lay on his side, sit down, lay down. It hurt. He was in fucking pain.
Yeah,
but then you weren't like fucking. No estabas grave.
No, I wasn't. My brothers got asthma, and my mom's diabetic too, and I was in contact with them, and I was like worried, sick because maybe they got it, but nobody got it. That was like weird. I don't know why.
Yeah, thank goodness, man. Thank goodness.
Oh, it's great. I have a few friends that got it, but they didn't really even know that they had it. Like they tested and they were positive, but they didn't feel any symptoms at all. Yeah. You know, there was a little diarrhea, and like a little cough, but not like, not like regular,
Yeah, I think people, I think the people that you don't have to be in the best shape, but you stay active, I think it doesn't hit you as hard. Like, I don't know, Carlos, you used to walk a lot. Do you still walk a lot, man, or what?
No, I wasn't. I was drinking a lot, and I was smoking a lot when I got that shit. So it fucked me up. Yeah.
Fuck. So the fucking beer, what are you drinking, Indio or what?
Corona,
that's what you used to. That's what you used to drink, fucker. That's what I'm asking you. He said, like, hey, wait. Yeah. I said, like, you want a beer? Échame una Indio, way. Fuck it. Let's go. We'd be there. We'd be at beer hall till like 3 a.m, fucking drinking beers and shit.
Yeah.
After hours. But yeah, dude. Like, no, I'm like, so that was crazy that my stepdad said that, and then he got that shit. And he's like, esta chingadera, like complaining. He goes, I'm just sore. And they're older, so like, I'm just sore. Let me just stretch out. I go, no, motherfucker. You got the fucking virus. You don't stretch that shit out. This ain't lactic. This ain't lactic acid, bitch. This is fucking a virus.
And I'm seriously thinking about that because I have a trip planned for Vegas from July 6th to the 10th. And now I'm thinking like, maybe I should just cancel this. Maybe I shouldn't go.
Just get over with. Just get that shit and get over. You're a runner, bro. You fucking run marathons. Go get that shit and get over. This motherfucker runs the LA marathon like every year. So go get that shit and get it over with, bro.
And I've been meaning to get tested for the coronavirus, but then it's one of those things. It's like, well, maybe I'll just on my next physical I'll get tested, or
I think we're all gonna get it eventually, man. I mean, it's like
I got tested twice.
I got tested. I was negative, antibodies and everything. But I think we're gonna get it. I mean, it's like a flu, man. You're not gonna fucking avoid it. You just gotta be prepared.
I don't know if it's like the flu. I don't know if it's like the flu. Everybody keeps saying like the flu.
No,
oh, fuck. You don't. I'm saying the whole fucking world for the flu.
No, I'm saying it's like the flu where everybody gets it a year, at least once a year. That's what I'm saying. I don't mean that the symptoms are like the flu or that the disease is like the flu. I mean, it's like you catch it like a flu. You're gonna catch it. Like if you're gonna get the flu, you're gonna get it, bro. You're gonna get it. If you're around people with fucking on strep throat, you fucking get it. Especially you're sharing fucking joints with people.
Texas and Florida had opened their bars. They closed them today.
I heard.
Today they closed them. They said that's enough. Ya está bueno, cabrones. And cases are going up everywhere. Like it's crazy how they really never went down. They kind of like plateaued, and now they're coming back up. We were 3 months behind China as far as the U.S. When did Mexico shut down?
Mexico's like a month behind or 2 weeks behind us, dude.
In Abril?
Yeah, probably, huh?
Like a month. So like a month behind
Because
us.
we shut down in March.
Yeah, March 13th.
Yes. The 11th, it was declared a pandemic. We shut, and then I think that San Francisco shut down even before the 13th. They were ahead of the games.
There was actually in Houston when they shut down. I had a show the night before, and I was flying back to Mexico City, and then when I landed, that's when they shut down. I remember.
Hey, so Carlos, so you got to open for Louis C.K., man. What was that like when you got the phone call? Could you believe it when you got the phone call or what?
Nah, I didn't. It was very, I don't know. It's a very surreal thing that happened.
Did he rub one out in front of you? No, I'm just kidding, bro. It's like, Carlos, you got to let off a little steam before you go up on stage. Do you mind?
No, he was.
He's a cool dude. Yeah.
Yeah, he had a show in Mexico City.
Yeah. Louis C.K. is a cool dude, man. Louis is a cool dude. I mean, sus pinches mañosadas or whatever, that's him. But, I mean, he was always cool with me. Like, I know his cousin is like a entertainment reporter in Mexico City. Yeah. Very well known. Very well known. His abuelita. And I remember because I remember when people told me when the rumor was going around, that he's part Mexican or whatever, you know. And I at the Comedy Store, I pulled. I say, hey, Louis, could I ask you a question real quick? Yeah, man. I go, I heard a rumor. You're Mexican? He goes, yeah, mi abuelita vive en el DF. I'm like, what? What the fuck? Crazy shit. You know, like just shocked the shit out of me. Like, what? Yeah. He goes, I go there visit them, you know, once a year. That's what he said. Yeah. It's a lot of family.
Did he say in Spanish or English?
It was English, and he did like 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes in Spanish. And he would like say stuff in Spanish. And he would talk about his Mexican family. And his Mexican family look exactly like him, but they speak Spanish. And that's like, it was very shocking to me to see them. They're white and they got red hair and all of it.
Hungarian Jews, man.
Yeah. He was very nice to me, and he was very, he gave me a lot of advice and told me that he was watching some, I don't know, maybe some Mexican comedians, and then he stumbled upon my material, and he said it was good. He liked a couple of jokes, and he said that he wanted to invite me over to do maybe 10 minutes in Spanish, and then I was going to introduce another comedian that he brought with him from New York, I guess. And then he did like 20 minutes in English, and then Louis came on stage. It was a fun experience. It was
where was it?
El Teatro Metropolitan.
Okay, I don't know that one.
Like a 3,000 people venue, maybe.
Sold out.
That's big.
Yeah, that was like 2,500.
Shit.
There was a lot of people that.
See, man, I remember I remember back in the day, and I used to tell them, I say, dude, gotta invite Louis C.K. down here. Nadie lo conoce. I'm like, what the fuck? Si lo conocen, way. People know. I go, the comedians know him, and the comedians know him, like you know, like you and all the other guys. And I go, and they'll help spread the word, especially if Louis C.K. is coming. People are gonna spread the word. Ooh, viene Louis C.K. And look at that shit. 5 years later, bro. I was 5 years ahead of the game. 6 years.
What percentage of Mexicans would you say speak English fluently and understand it in Mexico?
I mean, I don't know. I think it's got a lot to do with the region. Maybe like it's a very common language among like people that have money and all of that.
Education.
Yeah.
But you're talking about 1%. If you say 1%, that's 2.7 million people, bro. It's 27 million people in Mexico City. So if 1% is 2.7 million, just in Mexico City alone.
Just in Mexico City, you got to figure places like Cancun got to be
Monterrey, way. Monterrey, because it's closer to the border. So you got a lot of people speaking
because of all the tourists.
Yeah. So you get a lot of English speakers, but Mexico City, because it's the capital and it's an international city, you have a lot of because we used to do the shows like El Pinche Gringo and shit like that in English. Gringo. And he has like Canadians and a lot of expats. You get Germans to speak English, French to speak English, British people that speak English, Canadians, and Americans, and they would
In
all
Mexico
come.
City, what's the second highest population or demographic next to Mexicanos? Do you know?
Mexico City? No, I think it's
Probably
I don't know.
Lebanese, bro. Fucking probably Lebanese.
Yeah, there's probably Lebanese, maybe
It's a
Jewish people.
shitload of Lebanese,
Yeah,
man.
there's a very big Lebanese community. Yeah,
A lot of Jews.
wow.
A lot of Jews in Polanco.
Mm-hmm.
I heard about what happened in
Yeah.
Polanco, man. They spray painted their shits, huh?
Yeah, that's like the race war in here.
Damn.
They told him,
Yeah.
you look down on us from your windows. People painted on their walls and shit. You look down on us from your windows. Because that's Polanco's the Beverly Hills of Mexico City.
Yeah. And then, like, how does hunger look from your balcony and stuff like that? Like, you privileged white man. There was a lot of things like that. And there's a lot of people that think that it's actually promoted by the government, because that's exactly the same thing that happened in Venezuela when they got the support from the lower classes, and they feed this hatred and resentment toward people that are better off than them.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what they do. They think that's what happens, but nobody knows.
That's scary.
Is there a lot of white people living in Polanco?
Yeah, it's like that's where the people with money live, and most of them are white. So
fuck yeah, bro. It's a shit ton. You know what's funny? I always bring this up. Jose's gonna hear it for the third time. They have a park in Polanco called Lincoln Park, where they have a statue of Abraham Lincoln facing a statue of Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
They're across the street from each other. It's fucking hilarious. I thought it was funny, dude.
Wow. That's interesting how many white people are moving to Mexico. I was at a place over there, Paso Rosarito, and it's this community. It's between Rosarito and Ensenada. And there's this community there with a bunch of retired white people.
Oh yeah.
You know? And they're all like in their 60s, maybe some of them in their 50s. The youngest one's probably in their 50s, all the way to the 70s and even past that. But when you retire here, if your retirement isn't a shit ton of money, you're going to struggle. But if you take your retirement, no matter how basic it is, and you go live in Mexico, you're going to live way better. You're going to live by the beach in some places that you couldn't do over here. So I see how, tempting it is for like people from all over the world to start moving there almost.
But it's funny because you see the ego of like Caucasian people, because even when they move to Mexico, they don't move amongst the people. They create their own little community. Like if they're fucking Amish, you know what I'm saying? They still won't go intermingle. Oh, I love Mexico. I love it. But keep those Mexicans out of my neighborhood. Like, bitch, you're in Mexico. The fuck you doing? So they
Is that a thing, dude? Is that a thing right now where it's like that separation going on, or is there more of an intermingling going on?
Nah, there's a separation. Like white Americans, they move to places like Cancun, like you said, to the beach, but they do have like their community and everybody know each other, and it's not very common for you to see like a white American at a bar with a lot of Mexicans. It's not very common. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. It's just not very common.
Did you go to Martin, that place you went to? Did you go with Tanya Estrada?
I did.
Yeah, I've been there. I went to that place. Yeah, that's all along the coast.
And they're great people. It doesn't, you don't think like, oh, they're doing anything harmful,
No, they're not.
That's why I'm thinking to myself, like, is this like a thing like if they're making communities, the division has got to be, because you've got literally a dollar economy, or I'm sorry, a dollar budget existing in a peso economy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like fucking a huge fucking difference, bro. It's like, when I went to India, there was a home that was literally 47 floors.
Jesus.
This man's house. Next door to him was a cardboard box with 3 families.
Holy shit.
That's next door. Like, and when you see that, you're like, how in the fuck do you have a house with 47 floors and these 3 families are living in a fucking box?
It's starting to happen here, man, with all these tents popping up everywhere,
There's
bro.
a lot of tents. There's a lot of homeless people. But when you start seeing, the Mexicanos, and then you see somebody, I never even heard of Polanco, nor did I know the politics behind it, but that just seems that's like a time bomb ready to explode, It's back like fucking the Hacenderos back in the day, which is what caused the revolution.
Yeah, well, the reason I know Polanco, the first time I went to Mexico City, I got booked in a commercial, and they put me at the W in Polanco, and that's why I know. It's right there, right next to El Bosque de Chapultepec.
Fucking W?
A W hotel.
Oh, shit.
In Polanco. Across street was a BMW dealership. And I was like, so when I went to Mexico City, I was like, God damn, this ain't, my impression was like, fucking Mexico City is nice. I go, shit, it's just better than where I live.
How much was it to stay at that W?
No, they paid it for everything.
I get it, but do you know what the prices are?
I think maybe $300-400 a night.
Easy.
Dollars, maybe. I mean, talk about
who's making $10 a day able to afford that shit?
Well, no, it's for people coming international, and then
That's
they're
what
like,
I'm saying.
aquí se hospedó la Gwen Stefani, aquí se hospedó la. They're telling me all this shit. I'm like, I don't give a fuck about that bitch. She ain't paying my bills. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was a nice fucking hotel. I mean, it's a W, right? But
in Cancun, the same shit is happening. Like the white people are moving in.
But they put us all of us. I mean, I think only me and another girl were from the United States. Everybody else was local. Everybody in the commercial was white. This is in Mexico City, but they were all Russians, and Russians, Argentinians, and I forgot. So the Russians trip on this. The Russians move to Mexico City, and they go to the Televisa as a school to become an actor, an actress.
Simon.
And they become novela stars. That's why you see all these white motherfuckers on novelas.
Yeah.
They're not from Mexico. They're from like Brazil, Argentina, and Russia.
Yeah, that's the whole
college, bro.
Whole marketing, like the whole market industry here in Mexico. They just want white actors and actresses, and we got a lot of Argentine actors in Mexico because they use them for everything. Every commercial you can think of, they got white people there, and like the cheapest, this is gonna sound fucked up, but the cheapest white people we can get in this country are from Argentina. So they hire them and they use them for everything. Telenovelas, commercials, anything. They don't want brown people. There's a story that one day, I don't know if you remember, there's a very famous beverage here in Mexico called Boing. It's like a fruit beverage.
Yeah.
And they thought about doing like a campaign, a commercial with brown skinned people back in the 80s or 90s. And that was like a fucked up thing. And
nobody bought it.
Like nobody bought it. And they teach you about this shit when you go to school to study that. Like, you don't want white people, like brown people in commercial.
Ain't that about a bitch? Ain't that about a bitch, bro? So you ain't gonna see a fucking, Cuauhtemoc in a fucking McDonald's commercial, bro. Because nobody will go to McDonald's. Nobody will go to McDonald's and shit.
This is how the conversation started about how they believe that white is superior. Who was that president? Porfirio Diaz during the Porfiriato. They would throw powder on the Indios' faces so that they could appear white.
Yeah, but Porfirio Diaz was an Indian himself.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, am I right? He was, right?
Yeah, he was from Oaxaca.
I think he was a mestizo.
Yeah, well, he was a mestizo, but he had a lot of indigenous blood in him. I don't want to say Indio. Yeah. That's fucking degrading. That's a word they use to degrade people, but he was indigenous and shit. Mm-hmm. That's crazy because
but yeah, they used to put powder on each other's face para que se miraran más blancos, güey.
Yeah, I think Benito Juarez also, he was indigenous, right? Did he change anything?
He got like the separation of church and state.
So he changed. That's it.
That's it. Yeah.
He was probably harder on the indigenous people than anybody. I bet. That's what usually happens. Look at when we go through customs at the border. Fucking Chicanos are the hardest on us, bro.
Yeah.
The white guy will let you go ahead. Fucking sadly, and then the Chicanos like, let me check. Like, dude, they went through all my shit one time cruzando por Laredo. Was it Laredo? Yeah. They went through all my shit. They held me at the border for like fucking 2 hours.
God damn.
I had a show in McAllen. I think that's the McAllen border. And yeah, it's like, what the fuck, dude? I go, dude, I got a show. If I'm late for my show, it's your fucking fault, dude. Go, yeah, okay, show. Like, what do you think I'm doing? I ain't got shit. I'm fucking yeah, but why are you coming through here? You're from California. Because I have a show, motherfucker. I was in Mexico. I got a show in McAllen. They kept me there for 2 hours, bro. It was a fucking nightmare. Shit. You know what I'm saying? And it was fucking Chicanos, dude. It wasn't Filipinos. Filipinos too. I've had bad experiences with them. Like, what is your nationality? I'm like, motherfucker, what's your nationality? I can barely understand what you're asking me. Not to be a dick, but that's the way the guy sounds, you know?
Fuck.
You ever experienced discrimination, Martin?
Motherfucker, I'm 50. Of course I have. No mom.
What was the worst? What was the worst though? What was the worst, bro?
Throwing the softball questions right now.
That one was the worst, but which one affected you the most? Which was the one where
you... Tú hubieras sido detective mejor de comediante, cabrón.
Why? Why?
Porque investigas, güey, chingón.
That's a part of interviewing and doing a show, man. It's like, make it interesting. Like, what was the one that maybe, not maybe was the worst, but the one that kind of changed your way of thinking, like, fuck, man, like maybe for a second you didn't feel American.
Yeah. You know, I from a young age, you know, every time the cops pulled me over, it was a chingazo to the back of the knees, you know, just
really, damn.
Yeah, I mean, it was, you know, but I lived in a gang infested area, so they treated everybody like a fucking gang member. And if they didn't find anything, all they would do is get the fuck out of the east side or get the fuck out of Ghost. Like they look at you like they were claiming the town almost, you know. And so, you know, that was like early on, you know. I've had friends that got their head beaten in like Rodney King, but there was no videotape of that, you know. And back then, you know, like there's still obviously there's still a problem, but back then it was even more crazy, and there was no video cameras. Think about it. Rodney King was the first video camera, bro, and that was in '91.
Yeah,
you know,
and it was grainy and everything, and
yeah, but that was, I mean, think about what happened before that shit. Oh, that's the one time they got caught. It's like, if you ever had a DUI, think of all the times you didn't get fucking caught, you know? So yeah, that way, of course, going through the airport, you know, randomly selected. I always, you know, a huevo, it's fucking, we need you to step to the side, you know? They got to pat everything fucking down. They got to go through all my shit. It's almost like it's like I expect it, you know, like I've always, like, if a police pulls me over, the first thing I do, no matter if I'm right, no matter what the fuck, if all my shit's together, I just put my fucking hands automatically by the steering wheel where they can see them. I roll the fucking window down, and I don't move, you know, because I know that's good. And that's crazy that you have to think, I have to do this in order to be safe. You know, my son, we were driving through the Midwest, and he had to stop for gas. He was in a rental car, and he was like, I took off my hoodie because I didn't want to walk, and it was cold as fuck. And this is when Trayvon had gotten shot, you know, and he's like, I'm a fucking Latino with a fucking hoodie in the Midwest in the middle of the night. You know, am I going to scare somebody? Let me take off the fucking hoodie just so that I don't. So for me to hear that from my son, who's born in the United States, who's more white, he's just about as white complected as you. He's really light skinned, you know? Yeah. But the fact that he still has to think like that, that's problematic, you know? That's not only myself, but that's my bloodline that it's affected, you know?
I think stories like that are what make me empathize with Black people. When it's fucking sad. When I saw this video where this little kid's shooting basketball. Did you guys see it? And the cop drives by, and you see the kid hide so that the cop doesn't see him. And he's shooting
behind the truck.
Yeah, and he's shooting basketball in his driveway, in his own driveway. That's fucking sad, bro. That's sad that kids fear the police instead of saying, "Oh, that's my, you know, local friendly cop. You know, I feel safe. He's here. That he's patrolling." They don't feel safe. They feel threatened. You know, I used to do a bit a long time ago that you know, I was in Mexico, I was in TJ, and I was looking for an ATM. And my friend I told my friend, hey, look around, right? See if anybody's watching you. He goes, what, crooks, criminals? I go, no, cops. Because they'll come jack us.
Wow.
Because the cops will come jack us. They see me at the ATM, motherfucker. They say, we hit the fucking jackpot with this motherfucker. But yeah, dude, it's fucking sad, man.
Yeah, it's shitty, you know. And like I said, I grew up in at the time that I grew up, you know, the gangs were, you know, they've always been there, but it was really fierce back then, you know. Like you remember the movie Colors and all those movies that come out, you know.
It's because drugs made everything worse. The crack that just made everything so much. Because the gangs were always there, like you said, but it wasn't as bad. It's like, you know, little barrio had a beef with the other barrios, se agarraban a chingazos, whatever, at the park, and then it was done. But they didn't come shoot up houses and shit. You know what I mean? Like, and then crack got in neighborhoods.
Crack hit on a whole nother level. And that's the shit that the CIA was bringing in, you know? So.
Have you seen the show, Snowfall?
I haven't seen it, no.
Oh, my God. Have you seen it?
You got to watch that.
If you want to, that's about that. It's about how the CIA pushed crack into the fuck. Well,
that's how they funded the fucking Contras.
Yes.
They tap into all that.
In Nicaragua and all that. That's what it's all about.
Check that out.
Yeah, I was alive for that, you know.
Yeah. That's some crazy shit, man.
You look young, brother. Jose, how old are you?
38.
Oh, 38, yeah. All right. Yeah, you look young as fuck. But you weren't around back then, right? You were too little.
I wasn't around back then, but drugs did play a role in my family. I've had families that were addicts and people who have overdosed, so I'm very familiar with and I got my whole thing on the war on drugs and all this too. But yeah.
So cracking the guy that broke the because before the CIA got before heads rolled, before they had any repercussions for it, the guy that exposed them was a journalist from San Jose, from the Mercury News, and I forget the guy's name, but he was like a disgraced journalist. Like they said that he made it all up, that it was all bullshit, blah blah blah. That they came after him, and they came after him so hard, he ended up committing suicide. He shot himself in the head 2 times.
Shit.
2 times. Oh my God.
2 times.
He shot himself in the head 2 times.
It was ruled a suicide. 2 bullet wounds to the head, ruled a suicide.
Yeah.
You know. So, and then years later, the news came out that the CIA had been putting fucking, you know, crack in the hood. Freeway Ricky was driving down the 110 freeway. The same week that news broke about the CIA was the same week, I could be mistaken, but I'm 99% sure, it was the same week that Monica Lewinsky, the dress with the cum came out. And fucking Mekos in the dress are a better story than CIA fucking corruption. The fucking cum on the dress.
Yeah, sex sells.
Just fucking dominated the headlines, and it still does. Till this day, everybody remembers the fucking jizz on her dress, not the CIA crack corruption fucking scandal.
So do you think the CIA is the biggest narcos like in the world, man?
Hey man, that's a whole fucking
CIA, Interpol, Blackhawk, all that.
I mean, you think they're the ones maybe that, you know, deal with like Sinaloa cartel and all that? Because there's always a bigger boss. Like you see El Chapo Guzman and we like, oh, he's the big boss. There's always somebody above that motherfucker. I mean, that's the guy that they sacrifice. You know what I mean? They never sacrifice the main dude.
Who's the biggest guys in power are probably guys that you never see.
Yeah.
You know, the figureheads that you see right now, the big figureheads, the guys that are really calling shots. Trump, Putin, Xi Jinping,
The guy,
from China.
the guy from
What's that?
the North Korean guy? No.
No, that's Kim Jong-un.
No, his sister now is calling the shots.
Yeah.
But the big players
Oh,
and
the Chinese guy, you're right.
Bin Salman, the guy from Saudi Arabia, and Putin.
Yeah.
All those guys.
And Assad. Don't forget Assad.
Assad, but Assad fucking, he's taking the biggest losses out of all of them.
The one in Syria?
Yeah.
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 What about AMLO,
All the
bro?
guys, all the
AMLO's
other
up
guys
there.
are in control of shit, kind of.
AMLO's up there. Fuck. AMLO's telling them to eat their frijolitos. Come on, Trump. What do you think,
Gracias
Carlos?
a Dios, tienen tacos de frijoles, cabrones. ¿Qué más quieren? No sean malagradecidos.
But
Diosito los está cuidando, mendigos.
Hey, but that came out because that Salvadorian lady criticized that they were giving her tacos de frijoles or something like that, and she said they were feeding her pig food or some shit like that. I can't remember what exactly she said.
In TJ, all the guys the caravan, toda la caravana que estaba ahí, estaban, no les gustaban los frijoles.
Well, that's when he said that. When he came out. That's when he came out and said that shit. Was like, eat your frijolitos, man. But yeah, dude. I mean, do you see things getting better, Carlos, or getting worse, man? When is the shit gonna hit the fan?
Carlos? I don't know, man. I mean, we're supposed to be looking forward to 2021. That's 2022. No, 2021, next year.
They get 6 years.
Legislative elections are going to be held. Damn. And let's see if the main party stays in power or loses some power. I think it's going to lose some power. I mean, I voted for this guy, and I'm not voting for this fucking party ever again in my life. It's the same shit. But I don't know if it's going to happen like a big voting turnout from a lot of people coming to the polls to just take power from them. And there's also like a referendum for him to stay in power or, for him to leave the presidency. It's supposed to happen next year.
Yeah, he's not going to leave. He's not going to leave, bro. If anything, he's probably going to try to change the laws to stay in power. I mean, trying to pull that, dictator shit. Like Trump, I think Trump, I mean, dude, it's crazy because did you hear about that the Democrats, supposedly there was a rumor that the Democrats were making a deal with China or were asking China to help them get rid of Trump?
No.
So there was something to report. I'm not going to
don't matter.
I'm not going to, I don't know if it's a fact, but we'd fuck the facts, all right? But it was a rumor that the Democrats, actually Trump was accusing them that they were trying to get the Chinese to help them, to tarnish his shit. Coronavirus came out, bro. We don't know if that shit was used to fuck his presidency up. We don't know. I mean, I don't know. But Trump could also be you know what Trump's good at? Trump's good at changing the narrative. When shit's going bad, he's good in redirecting people. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because he never takes issues head on. He just fucking says, like, hey man, like they tell him the economy sucks. Yeah, well fuck it, we're gonna build the wall. Like, what the fuck is that gonna do? You know what I mean? Nada que ver, güey. Nada que ver. So I mean, there's a lot of conspiracy theories, and they're interesting to read. I try to take them with a grain of salt, but sometimes, man, they convince you when you're reading it. You're like, they start giving you, pointing this out, that out, and you're like, fuck, man.
I'll tell you what. I think we're gonna have another shutdown, is what I see. You got to figure, if we're 3 months behind China. Oh, that's what I was talking about earlier. China shut down in December. Yeah. Right. We shut down in March. They opened in April. All right. That's 2 months ago they opened, because now it's June. They started shutting down Beijing 2 weeks ago. Yep. Beijing, I don't know if it hasn't made the news, but Beijing, they're shutting it down. They're shutting down some of the biggest areas, marketplaces in Beijing. They canceled an economic conference because of COVID. So, and the last one was Wuhan, right? Where was the epicenter. Now you got Beijing. That's the capital of fucking China. So if they were open with precautions after they had got the numbers down, y en 2 meses cerraron, that means if we opened in June, that gives us till fucking, and some places opened in May, so that's June, July, call it August. By September, and already the numbers are going fucking up. By September, I see them fucking encerrándonos otra vez, cabrón. if we're gonna follow what happened in China,
probably sooner
why
than
would
that.
we not?
Man. Might be in August, man.
It might be in August. I'm just saying by September.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean,
And again, that's just my own crazy theory.
And they better not, because the NBA's coming back.
What's
the
that?
NBA's coming back, man. They can't be doing shit like that.
They can't do that. The NBA's coming back.
I gotta see LeBron James.
That's supposed to happen now, no?
Yeah, July 30th, July 31st. Is they starting it
Soccer's coming back at the end of this month. The beginning of July, soccer's back.
Well, with fans or some fans?
Huh?
With fans or with no fans?
I think without.
No fans. No fans. They're all playing in Orlando.
Okay, look, here's the thing about the fans. Trump had a rally with 7,000 people. 7,000 people at an event, and you could space them out way easier than he spaced them out. Why not do it with 5,000 people, 5,000 tickets?
And how do you choose who gets tickets? You charge it higher prices?
Pretty much, right? You got to balance that out.
But what about tailgating?
Oh, damn. I know, right?
Social distance.
Everybody shows up for the tailgate, but not everybody shows up for the actual game.
That's what we like. We like the tailgate. Fuck the game.
Shit,
oh, dude. I love all the free tacos at Elysian Park when it's Dodger season, man.
Oh,
you gotta come, Ballarta. You gotta come one day. Go to a tailgate.
We did a tailgate at UCLA with this for one time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was back in the day. I used to have season
I haven't been privileged to tailgate with Cisco yet, but soon come.
Phillips was still in the fucking college.
Yeah. What time did we get there? Like early in the morning, you were like, fucking
5 a.m., bro.
5, yep. You better get there at 5.
Bro, I still had lagañas right there. This motherfucker's like, hey, you want a beer?
Yes.
I remember you were like, fucking Cisco, bro. Really? That early, man? I'm like, yeah. He goes, the game's at 8 o'clock at night. What the fuck? The game's at 8 p.m. Why gotta be there at 5 a.m.? We gotta get a good parking spot.
And you're having like barbecue for breakfast, like all this like starch-heavy diet.
It's because my buddy Mike, he still goes to the games, still to this day. Goes to all the games every year. They get there at 5, 6 a.m. First thing he does, open the cooler, pop a beer open, everybody downs a fucking beer at fucking 6 a.m., whatever the time we get there. That's the first thing you do. Then we set everything up. They put the grill, and they start making breakfast or whatever. Then around noonish, depending the time of the game.
At noonish,
the carne asada, all that. No, dude, and then you go from like 10 to 10, and motherfuckers, there's dudes that set up bars. And this was one guy, he was like, invent his own shots, and he makes a bunch of them. And if you're just walking by, you, hey, come have a shot. And you fucking get there and you have a shot. Dude, you're in the game like this, sitting in
slumped over.
You're like that in the game. You're just like, I remember one time, dude, it was 103 degrees on the field. I was fucking knocked out in the first quarter. I was like that, dude. Not exaggerating. It's fucking crazy.
Dude, I remember it was opening day for the Dodgers, like 2014 or 16. And, they were giving away, Elysian Park, they were giving away free tacos. That was the first time I had tacos de cachete, tacos de, what's the other one?
Labio?
No.
Trompa, what?
No, because I remember like ahorita cabeza, the lengua, the asada, but I was like, the other guy was like, oh no, we have a cachete. I was like, cachete, what's this? So I tried it. I was like, oh damn, it's good. And yeah, I got introduced because they were just handing out free tacos, handing out free drinks. It's a good experience.
That's the fucking face pork belly, bro.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, it's good. I had some tacos de cachete in Atotonilco, Jalisco.
My family's from my dad's side is from Tecolotlan, Jalisco, and I've never been there. I don't even know where that's at. I've been to Guadalajara. I've been to Vallarta. I've never been
and Atotonilco and Chapala.
Well, there's a community. Speaking of white communities, there's a white community right by Lake Chapala, or on the Lake Chapala. And I'm telling you, they create their own community like, oh, we love the Mexicans. We just don't want them living next door to us. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they can come and work here during the day, but they got to go home afterwards. Yeah,
there's got to be like some kind of a system where they could fucking, they could pretty much support a family, dude, with like the way prices are over there, Mm-hmm. When you think about it, like pay an association fee where like a fucking family gets some of that fucking dough.
Yeah.
that lives in that area.
Why not?
Something, like, there's
It's a good
gotta be
idea.
some kind of something to, and that not, but you can't let the government take it and redistribute it. It would literally have to be like person to person, you know, like that kind of contact. Because once you put it in the hands of somebody, they're gonna have to fucking, tenemos que cobrar for this, tenemos que cobrar for this. By the time it's all said and done, nobody gets shit.
Yes, they're living back at the old pad.
Yeah.
Speaking of like their own communities, I remember in I don't know if it's Cathedral City or close to Palm Springs, there's a whole community of like little houses for little people, like midget town or little people town, and it's just like their own community. It's gated, and all their houses are just conformed to fit for little people.
Holy shit!
What?
I've never heard that.
Yeah,
Like Cathedral City.
it's by Cathedral City or in Cathedral City.
I always heard Long Beach. I always heard Long Beach had midget town, but I've never been there, so I don't know. That was always like a urban legend or rumor
Yeah.
that all the cast of Wizard of Oz lived there or some shit. The Munchkins. That was always a rumor, bro, and people swear by it. Oh yeah, it's over there.
No, but this one, I'm telling you, because I saw it. It is gated off and everything, and it's like going towards Palm Springs.
Tuntun lived there, bro.
Wow.
Anyways, all right, we're gonna wrap this up, gentlemen, because I know it's like 1 a.m. in Guadalajara, casi, no?
Yep.
1 a.m., man. So yeah. So guys, I don't know.
1 a.m.
I mean, I don't know when we'll see each other on the stage next, but I'm hearing 2021.
Is that when?
And I'm hearing comedy won't be back till like 2021, man. I know,
There's some people doing shows right now.
we did. Remember I told you we did one last Sunday. Dude, motherfuckers were in there with no mask. No nothing. I'm like, fuck this shit. I ain't coming back. I'm like, fuck this.
But I guess
Texas is doing shows.
Huh?
Texas is doing shows.
Well, I know, like, I know, yeah, because I think Felipe is going to San Antonio next weekend.
Chingo Bling was just in Dallas.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, yeah. Dude,
Did you say Chingo Bling?
Yeah, Chingo Bling.
The rapper?
He does comedy.
He does comedy.
Really?
Yeah, he's been doing comedy. He's the one on
Dude,
Netflix.
I know him from rap. Like when he used to sell like tamales out his caddy and everything. Like I remember I was like, who is this guy? And then like he would have passing out tamales, passing out CDs. And I was like, bro, like you got a cool car and I mean you got a cool little gimmick and stuff and like his music was all right.
Yeah.
Another thing, motherfuckers
Well.
are actors and singers, and then they fuck it. I'm gonna do comedy. I'm not doing shit. I'm like, no.
Yeah, because I know Chingo Bling from rap. I don't know him from comedy.
Yeah, he's funny, man. He's doing.
Nah, he's not bad. Yeah, he's not bad. Like Nick Cannon did comedy.
And he's got a solid fucking solid fan base. You know.
That's all you need. That's all you need.
Would you go? What's the earliest you'll do a show, Cisco, out on the road? Because there's a lot of guys that are ready to go right now, this second.
Oh, nah, man.
What if the check's right?
I'm not. Well, yeah, I have to be, and it's not gonna be a good amount of money because it's just no.
When do you feel comfortable saying I'm gonna go up and perform in front of?
Not till next year, man. Like with a group of people there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're gonna give up all that holiday? Because I think the holidays are gonna bring people together.
I did a show with Alfred on Zoom. Oh, man, that shit sucked. I don't like it, man.
Yeah, I don't know.
They don't feel the same, man. They don't. Have you done one, Ballarta? A Zoom show?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, don't do it, man.
When's the next time you plan on going on stage, Carlos?
I don't know, man. I mean, I'm having a show booked for New York, I guess, New York City. For September, it's gonna be in September, but I don't think we're really gonna do it. I believe you guys are gonna shut down again, and I'm not gonna be allowed to perform.
Damn, New York. But, where at, Ballarta?
I don't know, the Murmur Theater.
Oh, dang!
Like
I've heard of that.
I don't know what it's called, but there is a Bert Kreischer. That's his name. The guy who takes his shirt off. He's doing shows at drive-ins, and people go in their cars and they.
Yeah.
I heard about that.
Sounds good.
They honk for applause and flash their lights. Yeah.
Autocinemas.
Yeah, I mean, but what if they start honking their horn and shit, you know?
Yeah, instead of laughing, fuck it. All right, fuckers, calm down.
Yeah, that's how they heckle you.
Yeah. No, but thank you guys, man, for doing this. I know,
Oh yeah, nice meeting you, Martin and Carlos. Hey, if you guys got anything to promote right now or anything coming up that anything on the online.
I have 2 podcasts. One is in English called the Yo 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 podcast. That's with me and my son, Moreno. And then I have one in Spanish called No Te Asustes. It's myself, Peter Loaiza, and Elizabeth Covarrubias. She's a comedian and an actress out here, does such thing. And so, we're just fucking around, talking Spanish. When I started doing Spanish comedy, I just said, fuck, if I do a podcast where I'm just talking Spanish for an hour and a half, that shit's going to get my fucking Spanish flowing. So for an hour and a half, we speak Spanish, and, we talk about drogas and Diosito and lamber culos, and we tell people que no se asusten que todavía se van a ir al cielo con Diosito. So,
yeah, I like that, dude.
That's what No Te Asustes is all about.
What? Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I'm all about getting my ass ate and getting my dick sucked from the back, all that, dude.
That's beautiful, right?
Well, that's
Como Dios quiere.
Como Dios quiere. How are you, Carlos? Do you have a podcast or something going on?
Not right now, but maybe you can go to my Facebook page, Carlos Ballarta, and you can find some of the gigs that are going to be coming up. Let's hope I can perform. Yeah. And we're going to be in the U.S. So
hopefully, man. Hopefully. Fucker, let me know when you're in L.A., dude. Shit, I'll come by. Yeah, I know you were here. You didn't even tell me, dude. What the fuck?
I didn't tell anybody. I was there for like a day. I don't know. It was like Anaheim, and I don't know if they're closed or not to L.A.
Yeah, I'm right, dude. Yeah, I'm in L.A. I'm near everything. I'm like fucking 15 minutes from downtown L.A. So I'm just
15 minutes from everywhere.
Yeah, I could go to
pretty much.
Yeah, I could go to Anaheim, or where are we doing, the House of Blues?
I don't remember. It was Anaheim and
the Ice House.
No, it was not the Ice House.
Anaheim doesn't have an Ice House, does it?
The Improv.
No, it was something else.
Okay, so it's just like a venue. It's just a regular venue.
Oh,
yeah, just let me know.
Are you guys on Twitter?
Yeah, Martin Comic. On Instagram también Martin Comic.
Let me check you out right now. Yeah.
You on Twitter, Carlos, still or no?
No, I'm not on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. Vallarta es puto. @ Vallarta es puto.
Vallarta es puto. You still got that shit?
Vallarta es puto.
Sí, man.
Hey, dude. I remember when your tour was called Mejor Traigan Franco Escamilla. That was the name of his tour. That was the name. Did you catch any flack for that?
Yeah, I did. He called me up and said that I had to stop doing that.
He gave you a cease and desist?
Yeah.
He's like, hey, bro, I'm promoting you, dog. What the fuck? Why are you getting mad?
Simón. Sí.
What?
The show is called Mejor Braga. I'm going to do that.
That's funny, bro. I'm going to do a Mejor Traigan a Fluffy.
Hey, Mejor Traigan a Fluffy.
That's you right there, Martin?
Yes, that's me.
Okay.
Hey, Martin Moreno's Go See Fluffy Instead tour.
Mejor vayan a ver a Fluffy.
Check out.
That's fucking funny, Carlos.
Damn, Martin, you're blowing up, man. You got 62K. Woo.
There you go, dude. Shit.
Dang. Popping.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Fucking all that shit being at a beer hall, all those nights, man, paid off. Hey, dude, did they raise any money for Tutti? Because I heard he's losing that place.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they're going to do it. I don't think they'll make it, but I don't know.
That sucks. That's the original open mic, man. That sucks. That's the original open mic of Mexico City, man. That guy's losing it because of all this shit.
Because of the COVID?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, motherfuckers ain't gonna be like, I'm gonna give him some money. Fuck that. They're gonna be like, fuck that guy. Hey, I gotta say, I didn't do shit for Photo Shakespeare. Fuck them too. Yeah. All right, gentlemen. Well, thank you, man.
All right, guys.
Man.
Good night. Nice meeting you guys.
Órale, güey.